In the morning, I have one of those handsome faces. You know what I mean? But I didn't let it deter me from something that I wrote down yesterday. And it's still really good, so I want to put it down so that I don't lose it. Excuse my scratchy voice. It's been one weekend after another of constant going, and I think it's just my body saying I need to slow down. Now, maybe nobody else struggles with this, but since Evelyn disclosed what had happened to her 3.5 years ago, I've been asking, demanding, begging God to tell me why, so that I could understand his reasoning for it. And it's been a very frustrating 3.5 years. And about 6 months ago, I was like, God, you either need to tell me why, or you need to take that desire off of my heart. And that day at church, he just flat out told me that there are things that he's going to do that I won't understand, and I needed to be okay with that. And so it's been a lesson. So here I'm reading Leviticus. I feel led to Leviticus, and this one was interesting. So Leviticus 10 makes perfect sense to me. I can immediately apply all of it. So Leviticus 10 is when Aaron's sons, there's all these ideas as to why, but they went in to the temple and they burnt strange fire before God, and God smacked them down, killed them, and they had to draw them out by pulling their tunics out of the holy place. And that made sense to me. But then we get to 11, where it's just a bunch of these animals are clean, these animals are not, and here's the things that make them clean, here are the things that don't. Okay, so I'm going to read this again. Leviticus 10 makes perfect sense to me, and I can immediately apply all of it. Then I get to 11, and all sorts of questions pop up right away. It looks like the entire chapter is a list of animals that they can eat and those they cannot. They give reasons for categorical sake, but not for why these animals are not to be eaten. Like, what doesn't God like about this type of animal? Did God have some reason that we just don't know for why this animal is excluded? I then went digging to find answers. I'm a researcher. I always want to know the why. And there are some conjectures that are made for why, but that's just it, conjectures and guesses. In this day and age, we demand answers, rationale, justification for everything. Well, God does not, I repeat, does not have to do anything we ask, scream, or demand. He doesn't owe us an explanation. He doesn't have to explain and or defend himself. He knows why, and that's enough. We have a problem with him not answering to us. That's a little harsh, but it's true. We forget at times who we worship, who we are talking to. The one who created everything by speaking it into existence is the one who thinks of me and who listens to me. That is not the same as him being under my authority and having to answer to me. Maybe others don't struggle with this, but I struggle so much with accepting that I don't have final say. Even if I completely and utterly refuse to agree or accept something, it can still happen. God never has to tell me why or explain himself or his rationale for something. I may never understand why they chose my daughter for abuse. I may never understand why any of the things that happened in my life have happened. I get too big for my own britches and forget my place. This is not a two-way street. This is God is in control. I can worship him and live for him, or I can choose to not and face the consequences. What I do does not change who God is. Yes, God cares for me and hears me when I call, but he is still God, and I am not. He does not bow to me and my demands. I bow to him. I wonder how many people get frustrated and mad at God and with God for this very reason. We forget who we worship. I have a book coming that's called The Holiness of God, because I think I have a hard time understanding the reverence sometimes of all-powerful, all-holy, all-reverent God, because I've never lived in a kingdom. I've never lived under a royalty, and just all of the grandeur and things that happen when you're around that. And I think we need to remember who we worship. We need to remember and recognize that while he accepts us as we are, while he loves us, and we don't have to change to approach him, he is still God. He does everything. He spoke the world into existence. He has all power. And there's a song by Addison Road called What Do I Know of Holy? And sometimes I just need to hear that song to remind myself of who I'm talking to. May this encourage you. May my morning face not scare you. But I hope that this would help you and strengthen you in your faith.